All right, welcome back. In the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of one of the worst economic crises our country has ever seen, brought on by the China virus. We've had many experts on the show talking about how recidivism is up, how calls to suicide hotlines are up like 80%, and the bigger pandemic, which has been striking at our country for over a decade, probably more, in one way or another, is the poisoning of our children. And it's something that doesn't get enough attention, if you ask me. It's much worse. The death toll is much worse than anything you've seen in the pandemic, and it's not 85% people over 80 years old. It's predominantly people under 30 years old, and it's bad. Somebody who unfortunately knows way too much about this, God bless him, Jim Rauh joins us right now. He's the president of Families Against Fentanyl. And I'm reading up about you, my friend, and you tragically lost your son Tommy to fentanyl. And a lot of parents, unfortunately face the same, and they break down and, get into problems themselves. You decided to turn it around and make it your cause. God bless you for founding the Families, the FAF. Tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Thank you for this opportunity, John. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Families Against Fentanyl was formed after the indictment that was brought by the Justice Department against the Zhang drug trafficking organization that was shipping huge quantities of fentanyl to the United States. And the Justice Department handed down this indictment, went over there and tried to extradite the Chinese, put on their case, and the Chinese simply allowed them to walk away free. And as far as I know, they're still in business. So I've since filed a wrongful death lawsuit against them in hopes of attaching their money that has been sanctioned by the Justice Department and the Department of Treasury. And it's my effort to strike back at this horrible problem. And it's actually a terrible affliction that's affecting all of us.
No doubt about it. I know. I see it all the time. I live in Staten Island, New York. They used to call us the opioid capital of New York. We were having an exorbitant amount of opioid deaths. You have a petition out there at change.org, us.government.declare illegal fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. And you are trying to make the case that the spread of this drug is equivalent to a weapon of mass destruction based on the death toll it has. How is that going?
Well, yes, based upon the death toll that it has, there's approximately 150 of us dying each day, and will continue to die each day from fentanyl well after the coronavirus is vaccinated away. This has been going on for a considerable period of time. And so the designation of weapon of mass destruction gives us the ability to interdict the supply and actually cut this material off. It's a attempt to stop this from actually happening. It's a response that's an offensive move rather than our typical defensive moves. And it gives us greater capabilities to stop the supply, and it's really an idea that was started by the U.S. government. The Department of Homeland Security, James McDonald, has suggested it. Andy Weber with the Department of Defense says that it's
a weapon of mass destruction.
He said, and not only that, it bridges the opportunity gap or the capability gap in weapons of mass destruction. And he couldn't imagine that anything like this is just being sold directly on the internet. So this is already known by our government, that this material
no doubt about it
represents an imminent threat.
Right. So, here we have the U.S. government basically banning TikTok because it's a security issue, a China app that basically spies on everyone. Why wouldn't the U.S. government take, some type of, institutional movement against? I guess Trump is trying, but the sale of fentanyl is like so widespread, it's almost hard to break.
Well, it's so easy to spread is the problem. It can be moved in such tiny quantities that it's even killing people in prison, where you're supposed to have high security. You can get right through there and get anywhere to get anyone.
So let me ask you this. You think, I can't believe that, George Floyd wound up in a gold casket with his picture on the stage with a halo over his head and angel's wings on him. Fine, okay, a movement got around him, but no one wanted to talk about the fact that he held a pregnant woman at knife point. No one wanted to talk about the fact that he had fentanyl in his system. They say it's insignificant. You say it is significant. Why?
I think that they're not discussing it because of the stigma involved in fentanyl and with any drug addiction. This material and any of these consistently addictive materials weakens a person. Anybody who's subject to this type of compulsion loses part of their natural decision-making abilities, and you're compulsed on and on and on to do actions that put you in harm's way. And I think that these type of compulsions and this type of addictions put at-risk people in harm's way from people who are bad actors. And I think that what the police did to him was reprehensible. He's asking for help. Regardless of that, he's in a weakened state because of his addiction.
So let me ask you this. You recently gave some testimony along with Melania Trump at a symposium with the Department of Justice. It's good to see you're getting your message to the executive level. I think Melania Trump is often unfairly maligned, but I know she's a quite brilliant person. What was her position on this? She's with you, I would assume.
Her position on it, as I've been able to see on the Be Best movement, is, any type of prevention and remediation of the opioid crisis. But we're in a position now where this problem is going to, I'm afraid, make a jump from the street level use and the decimation of a generation to falling into the hands of bad actors or causing some greater problem. And in today's world of see something, say something, I think that the government has been well aware of this potentiality, and I would be afraid that they would wait until there's an incident in order to enact this type of legislation or use this type of force to stop it.
Got it. All right. Well, God bless you. God bless your family for dealing with this, and thank you for doing something about it. Really appreciate bringing this. I want you guys out there, if you're interested, it is Jim's mission here, he and Valerie, to get the government to declare illegal fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Makes a lot of sense.
This won't have any negative effect upon the distribution of fentanyl for legal purposes, and it's not going to have any effect on people who need regular pain medication. It's going to stop companies like Inesis and these other pharmaceutical giants from just pumping the material out, and it's going to make it so that there's some teeth to this type of distribution of material.
Yeah.
It'll give us a real ability to do something rather than just completely defensive moves all the time.
All right. Well, thank you very much, brother. We're going to have to leave it there. God bless you. Keep up the good work. That's Jim Rauh. He's the founder of Families Against Fentanyl.